Feel so self-conscious,
Yeah.
holy.
Hey guys, welcome to another INTJ and INFP coffee episode. Today we're talking about what we think of ENFPs. Yay!
Alright, before we start, you may have noticed our setup is a bit better. Hopefully the audio is better and the video is definitely better. Thank you, Alan, for helping us set up all this good stuff, and thanks to our Patreons for supporting us. Oh, and also, if you notice, our intro song is finally different after a whole year, which is thanks to Scott, the INFP, for contributing his original music, and you can visit his SoundCloud.
Yeah, thanks Scott. It was fun. We actually worked with him to kind of figure out like an original composition, and it was cool. So yeah, hope you guys like that.
I think ENFPs are bubbly and they're real people. I guess that's their subconscious six function FE, or however you want to call it. They're really compassionate, really creative, though that might not manifest in their completed projects, especially for the younger ENFPs, but it will usually manifest in their personal quirks and just how they choose to live their life.
Yeah, definitely. Like very kind of bubbly and vivacious, a lot of like energy coming off of them with that dominant NE, just like a lot of, different ideas, different perspectives that they have. But they can be very driven too with that tertiary TE. Like when that comes out, they can just like get things done and just like have an NE idea and just like immediately go for it and actually just do it. And it's like very inspiring.
Yeah, I made a note. The tertiary TE makes them quite effective career-wise, like their ESTJ cousin type. And I find ENFPs to be really great friends. I have great friends who are ENFPs. They tend to be really supportive. Their auxiliary FI tends to stand up for what's right and fights for the underdog, I like to think. And I think their NE and SI, similar to ESTJs once again, they tend to be funny and have a really good use of language and tend to be have a quirky sense of humor, really quick and good with the comebacks, if you know what I mean.
I guess as well as I've said with like previous NE users, it's really nice just to kind of like talk to NE users and kind of get into their head and envision that like freeing NE perspective, because NI is so kind of like subjective and like one track and like limiting in that sense. So when you talk to an NE user, it's just like, oh my gosh, yes, I can think of it this way, I can think of it that way. I don't. It's just, yeah, it's freeing.
Oh yeah, you guys are supposed to be like such good relationship pairing, according to like not necessarily socionics, but according to like the folklore of MBTI.
Yeah, folklore.
Yeah, the YouTube community
the
memes
on the forums.
Yeah, similar to you, I guess for me it's kind of freeing to be with ENFPs, because I think that whatever NE crazy stuff I fantasize about, they just do it. Right. Like it might take me years of pondering, is this okay for my FI and SI, before I like actually do it, but the ENFPs will just do it and then make the judgment later.
Right.
Like they try to see if it fits in with their FI after already experimenting with it, whereas for me it's the other way around. So yeah, it's kind of like jealousy inducing sometimes that they can just go out and do things so quickly, whereas I have to hold myself back a lot more.
Yeah. And I guess on the flip side, sometimes they can spread themselves a little bit too thin and maybe like try out multiple projects, but I guess that's just how they work, right? They just need to like try out things, do things with TE, and then reflect and be like, FI, SI, does this work for me? And then figure things out that way.
The only other thing I wrote was their low SI can make them disorderly and forgetful at times.
The low SI can kind of come out in really funny ways, in that they can be kind of like very open-minded and kind of expansive in thought most of the time, but then they'll have this one little thing that they're just like really like a stickler on.
Yeah, like that example I used about someone didn't write them a birthday card. It wasn't like they forgot their birthday, it was they didn't get a card. Yeah, so I guess that's just one of those SI values or associations that really cemented. But then the low SI, it also leads to just a really interesting and unconventional lifestyle. Yeah, I definitely wrote unconventional asterisk for the ENFPs, because I feel like some people with like a low NE have all these like ideas, but I think the ENFP really leads by example. Like they don't speak about it, but if you just look at their life trajectory, it's just like all very colorful.
Yeah.
And eclectic, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Probably even more so than the ENTP, because like the FI just like goes with whatever they want to do, as opposed to like having some semblance of like, I don't know, some sort of social like, I don't know.
Approval.
Yeah. So I find that ENFPs can be very like inspiring and uplifting, which is something that I usually attribute to like FE dominance or FE users in general. With FE users, it's much more direct and it's much more intentional, right? But with the ENFP, it's just kind of like, maybe they do have like a TE intention somewhere, but like usually just kind of being in their general space, their general vibe, and their kind of carefree approach or their exploratory approach to things. It's just a nice energy to be around.
I find most ENFPs I know to be like refreshingly honest and blunt.
Right. That's true.
It's another similarity to ESTJs. I really think it's just like how I often find similarities between myself and ISTJs. I really think when you share the first and third function with your other type, you have like so many of these similarities that pop out at unexpected times.
Yeah, they can be surprisingly like straightforward sometimes, and it's kind of nice. For me, I guess maybe because we share the FI-TE axis, it's like there's that mutual understanding that maybe for like an FE user it might rub them the wrong way, but sometimes ENFPs can just be very direct, and I'm like, oh, cool. We can skip over the FE stuff and just be like to the point in a very TE way. Another interesting thing that I see with both like ESFPs and ENFPs is that they do have like really well-developed use of TE, but at the same time they have that higher up FI. So like their TE serves all their like wildest FI desires and dreams. So they kind of just like, it's really inspiring for me, because I feel like I have to like linger for so long to figure out what is my FI value and like which direction should I go in, and in the meantime the like ENFP has already just like gone in that direction, and if they decided they don't like it, then they'll just like go in another direction until they like figure it out. So it's very, in that sense, they almost have like more active use in TE. I mean, it probably depends on person to person, like how well developed the TE is in ENFPs versus an INTJ. But sometimes it feels like, whoa, you just did so much in so little time, and it's very inspiring to me.
Yeah, okay. Well, something interesting about that is a lot of times I think extroverted perception really complements extroverted judging. If you have NI and TE, like your TE is supposedly stronger, but then I think introvert perception is so crystallizing that you might have to grapple with like all of the fragments before like coming to terms with what you're gonna do or what the plan is. But then for ENFPs, their brain structure is just try all the things.
Right.
And sometimes, actually, I feel like a lot of times that's faster.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know. I'll be, even with like ESFPs too. I've been with ESFPs and been like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be the TE user here, but they just have like done 5 things in the time while I was like thinking about doing one thing.
I feel like ESFPs even more because they're like a force of nature. Like FE is... Well, it's the same with ENFPs, but it might not be as physically evident to other people. Like, ENFPs might be having, like, 5,000 ideas in their head, but, like, people didn't realize it yet. But I think ESFPs, when they go really fast, other people realize and can see that.
Yeah.
But I see you, ENFPs, and how fast your mind whirls.
It's amazing. Going back to, like, how they can be, like, people persons, it's kind of interesting because they really do like have a lot of different friends and like even enjoy like bringing people together and stuff, but it's so different than like the FE way of going about it. I feel like it's more like in a TE way, like almost like the ESTJ, how they'll kind of like set up events and do all the coordination and stuff like that. I feel like ENFPs kind of do that too. Like they'll schedule events.
Yeah, I feel like it's the ESTJs who set up events, but ENFPs are just at every event because they're so likable that they get invited all the time.
Yeah, or maybe even some more just like kind of like throw out ideas like, oh, we could do this, we could do that. And also they like often give like practical advice or practical tips.
I find ENFP advice to be the most helpful advice out of almost all of the MBTI types, just putting that out there.
Definitely like hidden agenda TE. We can go into the socionics relationship between ENFP and INTJ, because interestingly, even though the ENFP INTJ relationship is like so heralded in the MBTI community. It's called the illusionary. Shoot, I forgot to write down the specific. Yeah, illusionary relationship in socionics. Oh man, but socionics is like negative for like almost everyone, but I feel like this is one of the more negative ones. They say that it can be difficult for us to understand one another without like forcing ourselves. And I guess I could see that maybe to some extent, like perhaps someone who has all the same functions as you, it'll be the most easy to kind of just intuitively understand. But it really depends on the ENFP too. Like some ENFPs and some ENTPs, just like dominant NEs, they'll just like go to different topics of conversation that my NI will like never discover. So it just, it's such a good flow of conversation. Well, they'll say something new and then I'll like think in depth in that subject and like respond in my little conclusion, and they'll jump to something new, and it's like, it's exciting. But I guess with some NE DOMs, if their mind goes like really, really quickly, then it can be hard for me to keep up. And then they'll like move on to 3 different topics, and I'm like trying to like still like figure out the first one in my head, and then the conversation might be kind of uncomfortable for both of us. Usually I think it's a good relationship.
So apparently my relationship with the ENFP is a mirror relationship. So we use all the same functions, but I guess I slant towards the introverted ones and they slant towards the extroverted ones. So I think actually in the socionics, it says it's a good pairing for long-term friendships and even relationships, which I can kind of see why. I actually have a really good ENFP friend whose boyfriend was INFP and they were together for a really long time. Yeah, I can see how it would be like a good balance, similar to like a dual relationship, but just not as much polarity, more like middle of the ground balance. And it says that you have similar life philosophies usually and just similar ways of approaching things, which I would also agree with. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.
Yeah, guys, so let us know if you're ENFPs, what do you think of our types? Or just any type, what do you think of ENFPs? Or what do you think of, like your illusionary relationship and your mirror relationship, that kind of thing. So we do typing services at cognitiveaid.com based on objective measures. So if you want to check that out, the link is in the description. If you want to support our channel, you can check out our Patreon page as well, where we give some exclusive perks. And we'll see you guys next time.